going to try to get through this. Hemi's superfinality anchors state roots to Bitcoin, which is a powerful defense against chain reorganizations. However, the real-time security that prevents the fraudulent transaction like stealing funds from the bridge still relies entirely on the honesty of the 2/3 DPO's validator set. How do you plan to communicate this critical distinction to your users, ensuring they understand that the Bitcoin anchor does not validate individual transactions? And how do you prevent the powerful anchored to Bitcoin narrative from creating a false sense of security about where the real risk lies?
I think we may have just killed Rick with that last question. So to unpack that, so it's not true that 2/3 or any portion of the validators on a L2, at least with the usual L2 architectures, including the way that Hemi's built, where any majority of that consensus power could go and steal funds from a bridge. So the only thing, basically, you have to look at the different layers of chain security, state transition functions, how data gets incorporated into the chain. And there's different things that different participants in the network can do to attack various layers of that. But it's not a matter of, whoever controls the majority of consensus gets to write whatever they want into the chain. Right? There's still rules that govern what constitutes a valid transaction, how you validate chain state for a withdrawal either on the Ethereum tunnel side or the Bitcoin tunnel side. And none of that can be manipulated no matter how much consensus power you have. So if, say, somebody controlled 2/3 of the sequencing power, they could censor transactions from getting into the chain. But because of the way L2s are built, you always have other routes to relay transactions into the chain that those validators do not control. So for example, you can go on Ethereum and submit I call them offloaded transactions, but a force included transaction that must get included in the chain and is seen and considered by the protocol, regardless of what the sequencers on the network do or do not allow from their mempools to get into blocks. So there's always that exit route to introduce transactions, whether that be, initiate a withdrawal over the tunnel or whatever. You can always do that through force included transactions that sequencers do not control. And also, as with any network, sequencers cannot insert bad data. So no matter how much consensus power you have, you can't introduce a transaction that, say, steals some user's funds or updates the actual state of the system in a way that's not allowed by the rules of